How to write about Arthur Birling. Approaching the exam question for paper 2 is fairly straightforward for an inspector call. There'll be a theme question and a character question. Each of these videos will deal with the character question. As with all other questions, identify the focus of the question. Define the character using the stage directions, because the stage directions immediately establish the type of person they are and what they represent in terms of the wider text. Once you've defined the character and you've identified the stage directions, you need to select 2 points of evidence from before the inspector arrives, 2 points of evidence from during the inspector's interrogation, and then 2 points of evidence from after the inspector has left. This will chart the journey of the character from the stage directions all the way through to the end of the play. Your task will be to explore that character and the themes and ideas based around that character. For example, Birling is a man who clearly enjoys the middle-class comforts of his life. Heavy looking would suggest he's living comfortably. He attempts to assert his dominance through his serious attitude, as the word pretentious would imply. Generally, this is an attempt to assert his dominance over his children, and, by extension, the younger generation in general. Whilst easy manners would suggest he is working hard to have a good relationship with Gerald, who represents wealth and higher status. Finally, provincial would suggest that no matter how hard he tries, the way he speaks gives him away as someone who is not of the higher classes. Your quotations that you select from the beginning of the text, during the inspector's interrogation and afterwards, should support this general overview. The Germans don't want war, and Titanic, unsinkable, absolutely unsinkable, demonstrate the middle-class comfort that Birling exists in. His ignorance towards the wider world and his arrogance towards things he doesn't completely understand are both demonstrated here. During the inspector's time with the Birling family, he calls his workforce labour costs, commodifying them and making them seem like something that could be bought and sold. And he talks about coming sharply down on these people being the working classes. Once the inspector has left, he can't do anything to me except perhaps make us look a bit ashamed in public. There's an irony here, because at the beginning he's scared of a public scandal. By the end of it, he's willing to suggest that the only person who should be afraid is Eric. And then finally, the final stage direction of they stare guiltily. Perhaps it could be argued that right at the end, Birling's middle-class, comfortable lifestyle has finally been punctured by the prospect of having to accept guilt for his actions. This overview and these 6 quotations will allow you to support you in writing an essay should the question be on Mr. Birling.